Hey goal diggers! Okay, sorry, I'm a couple minutes late because I was just on the live video and then I was gonna go try to rally my husband because there was a question for him, but I don't know where he is, so maybe he'll make an appearance, maybe he won't. But I wanted to chat with you guys today about, I guess, how I built my business to where I am and how I show up on social, it sounds like. So I'm reading the question. Okay, so if you don't know me, my name's Ashlie Milstead. I'm on social media as Foodie Girl Fitness, and I am in Danielle's downline. When I found Beachbody, I wanted to get in shape for my wedding. I was working my dream job at Nike, the place I'd always wanted to work, but I was really struggling with insecurities and money and all kinds of things. But there was just this, this pull to the Beachbody community because I loved the way I felt. I loved the workouts. And so when I decided to kind of pursue this, I decided to go all in with it. And the person that recruited me is my sister-in-law, and she's inactive. Like she drinks Shakeology. Yeah, she still drinks Shakeology, but she's not active in the sense that she actually coaches. And Danielle's her upline, but I didn't know to reach out to Danielle. So what I did was I just started getting the information on how to build my business by the information that's out there. And I listened to every single wake-up call, some more than once. And then there was also there's some other calls in the back office that aren't wake-up calls. I can't remember what they're called now. That aren't wake-up calls, but something else. And I was listening to those. And then I went on YouTube and I saw then I, would see who's the top 25 coaches, and I would go find them. And then I would find trainings from them, and I would listen in the beginning a lot to Janelle Summers. And I remember her talking about why you should sign your spouse. And so I signed my spouse at the top of my weak leg because Janelle Summers said to do it. And then I listened to a training, maybe a podcast or something, I don't know, with Melissa McAllister, and she said if you want to hit Success Club every month, you have to be hosting a challenge group every month. So then I'll host a challenge group every month. And so everything that I learned how to do, I just learned by listening to the resources that are out there, because I didn't have a coach to show me through how to get started and where to put my spouse and how to hit Success Club and how to share on social media. And I listened to a lot of training that Danielle put out because she was really good at social media. So I would listen to social media training, and I realized, oh, okay, so I need to share my journey. I need to be showing up every day, and I need to talk about things other than fitness. Okay. There's lots more tips, but literally everything I learned, hi Danielle. Literally everything I learned from coaches, the top coaches in the network, and that it was free information putting it out there. And I would just trial and error. And so I got into a routine of here's how I'm going to work my business. And I continued showing up and being consistent every single day online. So how I built my business while I was working full time was because, again, these are all the things that I knew I had to do every day were things that I learned from those top coaches, and they were, they had achieved all the things that I wanted to do. And so I think one thing that we get stuck with is you hear all this training and you hear coaches doing things, and then you're too afraid to take action. And running these training groups is great, but they don't do anything for you if you don't take action. You have to do something with the education that you're getting. One of the big changes for me when I decided I wanted to go all in with this was finally being brave enough to reach out to Danielle. And because she's busy, right? She's busy. And you think well, I'm just a nobody. Why should I reach out to her? Whatever. Or who is she? Is she going to care about me? But I thought, I'll just do it. I'll give her one chance. And then if I don't have time, then maybe coaching's just not for me. Of course, she made time for me. She told me, if you can hit Success Club and you can sell a challenge pack. And remember, I was hitting Success Club because those coaches on the wake-up call told me to hit Success Club. She said, if you can hit Success Club and sell a challenge pack, And my problem was, how do I build a team? She said, that's the hard part is selling the challenge pack. The easy part is getting them to join you. Yes, I remember that exact conversation. So she said to me, when they say they're ready to go, you give them the two options. And this is probably familiar to most of you at this point, but the first option is you order as a customer. They both cost the same. First option is you order as a customer. It's going to be $140 now and then $130 for your future bags of Shakeology and retail price for everything else. The second option is you can order as a coach, which I now call loyalty plan usually in my scripts. And it's going to cost the same thing. It'll be $140 now, but you'll get 25% discount on all your future stuff, and your next Shakeology will be $97, right? And so she said, just do that. And I remember being terrified to do that because I thought I was going to turn people off. And so I remember that day. It was a call that I had with her. I snuck into an office at Nike, and then I got back to my chair, and luckily Nike didn't have firewall, so I could message people, and I got a yes. I got a yes that day, and I almost didn't send that reply back because I was nervous, but I did. And then I did it again, and then I did it again. And now I do it like it's just part of me. It's part of what I offer because Danielle is successful, and if Danielle tells me to do something, I'm going to do it. Unless I realize that it doesn't work. But guess what? It does. The people that are telling you what to do, they're telling you to do it because it worked for them. They're not trying to see you fail, especially not the leaders in this page. So I did that. And then I made sure that I had my non-negotiables. So every day I worked out. Every day I did personal development. Every day I showed up on social media. Every day I started conversations. And so my routine when I was working at Nike, because the question that someone asked, that they wanted to hear from me is, I did build my business to 6-star diamond while I was working full-time at Nike. So I would wake up in the morning, make a motivational post, and sometimes that post was something that I had created the night before, but just was, because sometimes you can't think of things in the morning. So I would think about it the night before, have it ready, snap my photo or whatever, put that up. Then I would work out and film myself working out or take a photo or whatever doing my workout. And then when I was getting ready, I would be listening to personal development. And then on my way to work, because I got to walk to work, but you could get to work 10 minutes early or 5 minutes early and edit your video in the car before you walk into work and post your workout video. So then I would post my workout videos. So now I have 2 posts on social media. I've got my workout. Oh, and I had my shake for breakfast. So those are 2 of the vital behaviors. And then at lunch, I would maybe post another something like a recipe. No, not a recipe. Yeah, I would post something that I was doing, just a lifestyle post, or maybe something I was eating or something like that. And then after work is when I would have calls with people. And this is another thing I learned from someone: get on the phone with people. So if someone messaged me and they said, hey, I'm interested in learning about what you do, the person that was successful, I don't remember who it was that said this, but said, get them on the phone. So even though I didn't want to do that, I did that, and I would get them on the phone, and I was terrified at first. Like, I would have to come up it was this office, it used to be the man cave. I'd sit in the couch, I'd have my notes already, sweating profusely, and totally fumbled those phone calls about like what a coach is. But I got better, and now I'm super comfortable talking about what it is that I do. So I would have like 1 to 2 people usually a night, and then I would make a recipe post. So that's 4 posts for the day. And then and a lot of times the recipe posts I also found like on Sunday for the week. So I just had them ready to go and I could just pop them up. And I then would do messages. So then I'd sit down for at least an hour. And I don't have kids, so I have that going for me. And one thing that's important was looping my husband in, because I was on the computer all the time. Like if we were watching TV, my computer was on my lap and it wasn't just idle time. And I think that a lot of times we confuse like working with actual just being on the computer or just scrolling. And like you have to actually, you can't just be scrolling and like commenting and like, you have to be really intentional with your time. So especially if you have kids and your time is limited, you can't have like be all over the place. You need to go into that power hour with a mission. And for me, my power hour would last 1 to 2 hours, depending on how that evening went and how many messages I had, and if I had just posted about a challenge group invite or whatever. But that was my schedule. And sometimes if we had nothing else going on, I could get, like, as people messaged me, I could get back to them in that same power hour or power 2 hours or whatever. But sometimes I wouldn't be able to get back to them until my message time the next day. So they would be messaging me all day, but I stuck to my consistent habits, and then I would message them the next day. And if people aren't down with that and you're making them wait or whatever, like, you are a CEO and you get to decide when you are when you're working and when you're not, and you're not at the mercy of every time someone comments, likes, or messages you. So I think, set your hours and respect those hours, because if you're going 24 hours a day and you're working full time and you're a mom, you'll get burned out. So you have to set those hours and be respectful of those hours and have family time. And, like, we took a night off every week. We play pub trivia on Thursdays. We still do. And then after about a year in, I started taking weekends off as well. So, set those hours and respect them. But also that means that you have to show up for those hours too. Because sometimes you don't want to work and you have no motivation, but you still have to do it because it's consistency in this business over time. But you are a CEO, and that's the precedent you want to set. And so if you feel like you have to get back to people right away, that's also what you're showing them, is that this person works around the clock. They get back to me 24 hours a day whenever I message them, and then they're in their head, even if they're not thinking about coaching, I could never do what she does. I'm too busy, I could never do what she does, right? So, and that was my routine. That's what worked for me. And that's not what's going to work for everybody. So, like, I know Danielle, when she was teaching, she got up early and did her work before work, like at 5. I'm not a morning person. Like, I hate waking up early. So that was not an option for me, but I did mine in the evening. Whatever works for you, I think find the routine and stick with it. And if you have to master the basics. You have to have your non-negotiables that you do every day, which are always the 4 vital behaviors. But then once you master those and those become your habit, then I think you can layer in the other things. Then you can, show up to your team calls and stuff, but then you start doing trainings and running groups, you're pushed to Emerald groups and doing things like that. But if you don't master those basics and get into a routine that day in, day out is what you do, then I think you'll struggle with layering more in, because you'll feel like you're always all over the place with a million balls in the air because you don't have it dialed. So I think you just have to find the routine that works for you. And then I was able to, when Danielle, doing the vitals, and that's it. And then, I can do a whole lot more now because I fired my boss a year and a half ago or whatever, and now my routine's totally different, and every day is different. I am not as regimented because I get to decide what my schedule is now, but I always do the non-negotiables those 4 non-negotiables every single day. And also one of those non-negotiables, the same way that you show up on social media, should be checking in with your challenge groups and, and your team page. But that's literally how I grew my business to 6-star. And I would have grown it further if I didn't have another conversation with Danielle where she was like, homegirl, if you are making in 1 week twice what you're making in a month at Nike, what are you doing there? Why? I'm not going to tell you to leave your job, but why? And I realized it was a security blanket I had to let go of. And I'm actually a 6-star still, guys. I haven't advanced my business in that way. I have advanced in volume, but the whole last year was a massive growth year for me personally and now professionally. But that is how I grew my business. And then the second part to that question is, how did I get comfortable putting things on social media? Practice. Nobody shows up in this job. Maybe there's some people, but the people that I work with, nobody shows up in this job ready to put everything out there. And now it is exactly it's everything. I use my social media as therapy. It is so freeing. It is amazing to I literally get to be me 100%. And I think that the way that started happening was I started, again, follow coaches who know what they're doing and then do what they do or tell you to do. I started following Amy Silverman because she was in Portland. I'm from Portland. I don't follow her anymore. She doesn't resonate with me anymore. But in the beginning, she resonated with me a lot. And I love that she was this tattooed kind of hippie, recovering drug addict, or I don't know if you're recovering or recovered or what the terminology is on that. But she was that and a fitness coach, and she could swear. And I thought, okay, well, if she can do all of those things, why can't I also be who I am? She is creating a tribe of people who are also, she's speaking to those people that are recovering addicts, have tattoos, are into hippies and like their body is a temple and all these things. And so I like to swear too. I also like to drink a lot. I also like to just say, like, have a crude sense of humor. And so I just started showing up as me. And I tiptoed it first. And that's what I would recommend you guys to do is, be who you are, and if you're uncomfortable with that, you can just start small. But one of the things that I learned from Tony Robbins this year, Leticia and I went to go see him in June, and he said, and there was a lot of little kids there, and he said, speak in front of everybody the way you would speak to your best friend. And so he was swearing, and like, just like how, you know, and it made me, and I had felt kind of like I was able to do that before even Tony, but that just reaffirmed it of like, yes, I am allowed to be me. I'm allowed to say the things I want to say, and I'm allowed to like the things that I like. And I just actually went live on this same thing on my page, but I talked about how I don't know a lot of things. And before I used to be nervous about how that would make me look, and people judging me. But like, for instance, my husband, we saw this guy at the bar this weekend, and I was like, that guy, he looks like someone we know. And he goes, he looks like Mike Pence. Do you know who Mike Pence is? And I was like, what is he, a coach or something? He's like, it's our vice president. And years ago, I would have felt so embarrassed that I didn't know who our vice president was. Like, but now that's just who I am. Like, I'm allowed to be who I am. But it started out, and yeah, I should know who our vice president is. Fine. I know who it is now. But I started out small, you know. I started out with like maybe damn on Facebook or maybe hell or something. And then I just started like peppering in the other words. And F word, the F word's one of my favorites. If you follow me on Snap, you get it all day long, really. And drinking, you see several times a week on my page. And it's created a loyal tribe, because here's the thing. When you're a coach, you think you have to be a certain way, right? You have to be buttoned up and appeal to all kinds of audiences. And at the end of the day, if you're talking to everybody, you're talking to no one. And so for me, not only is it more freeing to be who I am and show up on social media authentically as Ashlie, who likes to say the F word and likes to drink and is obsessed with her dogs and, you know, whatever else I am, and like doing this self-love thing, I'm allowed to be that. So not only is that freeing, but also it's brought like this loyal freaking tribe into my world. People know who I am. I love it when people tell me like, I feel like we'd be best friends in real life. I love that. And so you should, and if I'm not your cup of tea, rad, because I don't need to be everybody's cup of tea. I'm not going to be everybody's coach. Like, I don't follow Melanie Mitro. I follow her on YouTube and I'll watch her trainings because she knows a lot and she's amazing, but I don't resonate with her brand. I'm not a mom, I'm not classy, I'm not put together, and that's okay, because people need Melanie and people need me, you know, and people need Leticia, my success partner, and people need Danielle and Julie, and like, we all reach different people because we're all different people, and who you are is totally okay. You exist and you are very unique. But if you exist, there are other people like you that exist. And so you have total freedom to be who you are and start sharing it. And you might get some unlikes at first because maybe you've built your brand really safely, trying to appeal to everybody. And maybe when you start showing who you really are, some people are gonna be like, well, she's not really my vibe. Cool, that's rad. Because that means that you are not just a, you know, boring rice cake with no flavor. And that also means that your tribe that are your people, they're going to connect with you and they're not going to go anywhere, and they're going to trust you and they're going to love you and they're going to follow you and they're going to help you become more and more comfortable with who you are. But you have to start putting yourself out there and stop like wearing this social media mask. And one way, I think Snapchat's a really great way to start if you're not comfortable on video. Snapchat, you're like talking into it all day, and I think you get a lot more comfortable on video that way. I also, if I look back at some of my live videos that I did when I first started going live, they were super uncomfortable, and I would have been really nervous to do this video. But my goal now is to go live on my page Monday through Friday, and every time after I go live, I see several likes, like I see them drop because they don't like something I said, and I'm like, rad. You have to check yourself. When you get unliked, that's not a bad thing. It means you have flavor, and you're weeding out the people who are not your people, but you're also bringing those people who are your people to you. So I get unlikes, and then over the next, day or whatever, I get more likes and more interaction on that live post. But I'm now very comfortable speaking live, and that's a part of my brand. So I think, how do I get comfortable putting stuff on social media and being really vulnerable? I started small. And I remember one of the very first things I was vulnerable about was my depression and mental illness. And I did not include it that I was suicidal the first time I talked about it because I was too ashamed. But now I talk about it like it's just a fact of my life. It doesn't have any power over me. It's just part of who I am and who I was. And there's one thing, and my team's heard me say this a bunch, but if you've done any personal development with Brene Brown, she talks about gremlins and how we all have these gremlins, these things that we're afraid of that hang out in our closet and in dark spaces, and they remind us all these scary things that we don't want to talk about or show anybody. And if you remember the movie Gremlins, they can't survive the light. So you've got this thing, for me, one of my things was depression. So you've got this thing, I was carrying around this heavy shame burden, this shame gremlin. And as soon as I started shining light on it and posting about it on social media, it stopped having power over me because the gremlins can't survive the light. And now that gremlin's dead. I don't have that gremlin anymore. I don't own that shame. And most of the things that you're carrying around shame over, you shouldn't own either. But you do because you haven't shined the light on it. And so that's another thing that has helped me with social media, was starting small by shining the light on a gremlin. And now, as soon as I feel a gremlin, I share. That's why I had that photo go viral, because I was feeling ashamed of my body at the time. And we got pregnant last year, and then we miscarried, and then I went and just ate everything and was just treating myself like crap. And so then after leadership, I committed to doing Core de Force, and I'd seen really good results in 2 weeks. So I was feeling good, but I was trying to take a picture to put on social media, and no picture was turning out well. None of them made me look the way I was feeling. And so I was twisting and doing all these things and the lighting, and I just thought, why am I doing this? This is a gremlin that I'm owning. I am ashamed of the way my body is right now for no reason. I'm going to shine the light on it. And that's why I did the side-by-side sitting down. this is what I look like sitting. And, and that went viral. It was seen by millions of people. And so I think, you start small, but soon you will start to see that people embrace you when you are who you are. So that's how, I don't know. I don't know if that was helpful or not, or if this resonated with any of you guys, but I would really challenge you to, one, find a routine that works for you, set a schedule and stick to it, honor that and show up every day. But then also to start showing up as you on social media, being vulnerable, sharing, things that you struggle with and things that make you you, and letting people in. And just know, it is not, I got this from Gary Vee, it is not the number of likes you have, it is the number of likes you have who care. So if you lose likes, it's fine, because you're going to gain more, you're going to get closer to your tribe. So I want you to, try to do that. When you find yourself censoring yourself, stop and figure out how you're going to post it, how you're going to get comfortable posting that and drawing your tribe to you. And then I think that's it. I think that's my recap. Oh, there was a question about how does John feel about it? In the beginning, I used to ask him for some things are you okay if I put this? I had a butt transform. Are you okay if I put this? Okay if I put this? And he was fine. And now he's we are a full-time Beachbody family. He will never have to work again because of Beachbody. So, yeah. He will never have to work again because of Beachbody, and now he's so proud of me. We took a photo, if you've seen any of the shots from Danielle's photo shoot, of me sitting down, and I showed him a screenshot of Marzia's camera, and he blasted it on social media, and it was me with, my belly roll in a sports bra, and he put it on his social media and said he was so proud. But I did ask him in the beginning to make sure he was comfortable, and then now I think it's the same of you being uncomfortable with putting things out there because you care what people think. Yeah, I'm sure he thought that too. And I thought it too when I first started. But those people don't pay our bills. And, and I've heard of stories about I know Rhonda's husband really struggled with sharing about their financial issues that they went through. But now, she is changing a ton of lives. She's making a huge financial difference for her family. She's changing her girls' lives. And her husband doesn't care so much because like she's doing enough good that it doesn't matter. So she was respectful of that in the beginning in the same way I had to be with John, and, you know, asking him and making sure he was okay and kind of tiptoeing at first until he got more comfortable. And then I tried to include him as much as I could. I tried to include him as much as I could in the things that I was doing and the things that people would write me, to know that like it does make a difference. What I'm doing does make a difference, and I'm connecting with people by sharing these vulnerabilities. And he didn't want us talking about that we were going to counseling for a while. But that was one of my most popular posts. You know, when I posted about it, it was one of my most popular posts, because that's another shame gremlin. That's like, counseling is supposed to be a thing that we don't talk about, but like, why? Who cares? Who cares if you know, it's like, you should just be allowed to live however you want to live. And so we just had to like be gentle with him and ask him, but now he's very proud, and our lives are completely changed, and he sees that because of those things that we've done, we are able to change so many other people's lives. So if your husband is struggling at all with this, I think bring him into the journey as much as you can. Show him what you're doing and the people that you're helping and like the results you're getting or the messages, and show him that what you're doing is changing people's lives. But also, you know, kind of tiptoe around those things that make him uncomfortable in the beginning. And he'll, you know, the same way that your comfort zone, we're asking you to challenge your comfort zone with what you put out there. In that same way, you're going to ask him to challenge his. And so he'll get more and more comfortable the longer you do this. And now, like, there's probably nothing I could put out there, like, that, you know, he would be embarrassed of, because we're making enough of a difference for our family and for people out there. And literally, like, yeah, what Julie said too, like, those people are not paying our bills. So it doesn't matter if, like, his brother thought that this whole Beachbody thing was a hoax and that wasn't going to ever, it's not sustainable. It's like, oh, who's laughing now, brother? Because we're both home full time making well over 6 figures, right? Like, okay, put that in your pipe and smoke it. I don't know. It's just like, it doesn't matter what anybody thinks, but you just got to take time getting to that level. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Jen says, make your partner participate in your challenge group. Yes. I've had him doing some messages for me recently, and that's been a big game changer too, because he can see like what people are saying. Okay. Did Lady Gaga thank me personally? Gaga and I are like tight. So I know, I was like, girl, go out there, do your thing. You're gonna get the haters, but own it. And she was like, I know, Ashlie, I know. Okay, I saw your photo. Okay. The minute. Yeah. All right, guys. Oops. Next diamond on the team. John? Are you talking about John? I don't know what that means. Next diamond on the team. Oh, Gaga. Yeah. I'm working on her. She's coming. Okay, guys, I gotta run and hop off and join this boot camp call, but thanks for letting me kind of share my story. If you have more questions, I am always an open book, because in the same way I want to pass this like blessing forward to all the people that are on my page and that I can connect with, I also want you guys to take control of this. So I think I recapped already, but one takeaway I forgot to recap was you have to be coachable. So now all of this stuff's great info, but if you don't put it into practice, it won't do diddly for you or your business. So start like being coachable and doing the things that people tell you to do. Go do them. They are successful people for a reason, even if it's uncomfortable. No, like, what's that saying? A comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there. You won't grow there. Your business won't grow there. There's literally no point to living in your comfort zone. It's boring AF. Yes, go share a gremlin. Okay, love you.